All right, we on there. Let me hit this. All right, everybody. We going live. I think we on there. Let me check it out real quick just to make sure, but I think we on there. Switched up, did it on a Saturday and not a Sunday. Yep, we good. Yep, we good. All right. So thank everybody for coming on here. So we're gonna do just a little different today. So a couple of weeks ago, I
Wait
was
a
in
minute, hold on. We got
Chicago.
Facebook yet?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I was in Chicago, and we were there to get signatures and talk to some folks that were attending the TDU convention. Had a really good time, real good time. But while I was there, I did this show with Roland Martin, and real good show, really good, uh, just really, really good vibe and everything. I was reading the comments maybe like a day later, and one of the comments, the lady, I don't know if she's a Teamster or not, but she said something, man, that really convicted me. And she said that, what I was saying sounded good, but it was like sound bites. And she was saying that what needed to be said and what needed to be done was that you can't keep beating around the bush, right? You gotta let folks know the true concerns of what's really happening within the Teamsters, because a lot of people don't know. A lot of our members, uh, they just go to work, go home, collect their paychecks, pay their dues. They'll come to a meeting every now and again, but they really don't know the internal politics, the internal struggles, the internal problems that really go on. And when I first started as a Teamster, I mean, I didn't know either. I really didn't start really understanding what was going on in the Teamsters until 2007 when I became a shop steward because I started in 1999. So you're talking about 8 years of just, you know, not knowing what was going on, what was happening, just kind of like blindly following the leadership of, and people that was there a long time before me. And so, when I began to understand what was going on, then that's when my experiences and situations changed for me. But in this particular setting in Chicago, we were outside, had a little demonstration. They had some Chicago aldermen were out there, had some folks from other unions out there. I mean, it was really good. But we had some folks from local 804 come out, very respectful. We had a really good, really, really good conversation. I'm talking about really, really good. The brothers came out, they had some BAs that were with them, shop stewards. Matter of fact, one of the shop stewards was kind of leading the conversation that he and I had. He came out, said, "Hey, Hook, Richard, listen, man, we're not out here to bash you. We understand that you do a good job at 623. Everybody sees it. This is not what this is about. We just don't understand why you're running against the general president. We just don't get it." And when I thought about that, a lot of people they make up their own narratives of why they believe that I'm running, right? You guys see it. We're not gonna go all into it. But I'm gonna do what that sister said. We're gonna put it all out there. And like I did to the brothers of 804. So the brothers came out, we talked, and they wanted to know, like I said, we just gotta know, like, what's your reasoning? And so we started talking, man, and we went from A to Z on issues on why we run it, the concerns. And to all my non-UPS folks out there, this is going to be heavy, heavy UPS, conversation. But I don't want you guys to focus on the fact that it's UPS. I just want you to listen to the concerns and the issues because just because it happened at UPS, I can guarantee you You have the same concerns, the same frustrations, and the same issues, just in a different way, but it's the same. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So we started talking about the contract, right? Started off with the cameras. I said, General President said that the cameras were a strike issue. That's what he said. Did we go on strike? No, we did not. The brother said, you know what? I'll give you that one. And I followed up with this for about 20 years under his Hoffa leadership. There was a certain way things were happening. They felt like he didn't do a good job and they beat him up for it. Called him out, blasted him everywhere. TDU, I mean, man, dude, everybody called Hoffa out, right? Anything that happened wrong in the UPS contract, the previous administration was called out on. If Hoffa would have said something like this, man, it would have been pandemonium. They would have Everybody know what would have happened. But for this situation, anybody say nothing, right? He said, "Okay, I give you that." Then we started talking about the national panel, and as it would happen, there's a BA from 804 who does he does a show every once in a while, and he talks about how things need to be different and change in the national panel. We start talking about how O'Brien said this was going to be different in the panel, that was going to happen. But when you look at the dockets and stuff, this case has been on there for years and years and years. So we started talking about that. Started talking about the national panel and how, like I said, again, this is what was promised to us, right? Then we started going to other situations about how he said that he was going to bring UPS to their knees, stopped automation, all kind of stuff, right? They listened. They said, you know what? We got you and we understand. But then we started talking about something that I know nobody knows about. And I'm gonna preface it with this. Everybody on this call, I believe, and everybody that's gonna watch this, I believe if somebody was to, I don't know, threaten your household in a way where they were going to disrespect it, disregard it, whatever the case may be, you guys would stand up, fight back, and say something about it. I mean, if you harm somebody's family, household, you're going to do something about it, right? I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm about to say. So we got elected in 2019 in my local. One of the things that we ran on was that we were going to stick up and fight back no matter who it was. Anybody that disrespected 623, came after 623, did anything at 623, we were going to stand up and fight back. And the reason why we said that is because the previous administration, they had this saying that they were not going to do anything to push back, to fight back against the IBT, no matter what it cost or how it harmed the members. That was that's what did them in because they chose the IBT over the members of 623. Don't believe me? Let's go back to all of those who's been here for at least, I would say, what, 15, 20 years. You guys go back to 2016. There was a convention in Vegas. It's all online, YouTube. You'll see this younger fella, myself, before I had all the gray hairs, along with other people, getting booed and yelled and screamed at. The reason why we were there is because our previous administration told us in the meeting that they were going to protest in silence. They were not going to do anything to go against the IBT. No matter what Hoffa did, O'Brien did, because don't forget, he was right there with him. No matter what they did, man, they were not going to speak up, speak out, or anything. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Let's fast forward back up to what happened a couple weeks ago in Chicago. So I'm talking to the 804 brothers, and this is what I told them. So we get elected in 2020. We're 19, take office in 2020. We get reelected in 2022, take office in 2023. So in 2023, at the beginning, you guys know it was a UPS contract, right? They wanted to start. I think they started like March or April, something like that. It was early in the spring they wanted to start. In my general membership meeting, it just so happened to have the president of the previous administration in my local, by the brother by the name of Bill Morris. You don't believe me? Go and ask him. He's a very close friend to the general president. So he's in there. After the meeting, I go to him. I said, Mr. Morris, I can guarantee you that your man is not going to pick anybody from our executive board to be at national negotiations. He said, Richard, man, that's not good. If he does that, it's a bad look because every contract has had the president and the secretary treasurer from my local on the national negotiating committee. Every single one of them. Go back in the book. Again, I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Huh? Go.
So I didn't know
So
that.
yeah,
Okay.
every because the reason why is because of the air hub in Philly. It's the second largest in the country. Air language, we have a very intimate, knowledge of what goes on with that, right? That's why you have the number one and the number two person from the local always there. Go back. Everybody got old contracts, right? Go all the way back. You might see a name: Rick Opaleski, Jim Merritt, George Ruggieri, Bill Morris, Bill Shanahan. You'll see those names or a combination of those names always there because of the relationship with the air hub, right? I tell Bill Morris, I say, your man ain't gonna do it. I'm telling you, this is who he is. Oh man, it's gonna be a bad look. You the chairman of the 623. He's got to do it. I said, Bill, he ain't gonna do it. I'm telling you, he's not gonna do it. So, as it would happen, remember what I told you guys. If anybody disrespects 623, company, politician, IBT, what we ran on, we was going to stand up and fight back. And I'm telling this to the 804 brothers. So I told them I ended up getting a letter emailed and in the mail from the general president saying that he's appointing two members from my local to the national committee. Now, I knew it wasn't going to be me. So when I got it, okay, I got you. But here's the part I want people to understand. This is who this guy is. Guess who he picked and appointed from my local? He picked two
Was a red.
people from the previous administration, the people that my members voted out not once, but twice. That's who he picked. And again, what did we tell our members from the very beginning? If anybody disrespects 623 in any way, politician, company, or the IBT, we're going to stand up and we're going to fight back. That's what we're doing, right? And so when I told the brothers that, they're like, what? I said, what am I supposed to do? When you run on something, you're supposed to do it. So our previous administration, they said we were not going to do anything to undermine, fight back against the IBT. That's what cost them their positions because they chose the IBT over the members of 623. We don't work for the IBT. We work for the members of 623. So now you pick two people that the members voted out. They voted them out for a reason, but you picked them. You didn't disrespect me. You disrespected them. What did we run on? If you, anybody, come at 623, we're going to go at you. Just the bottom line. So I told them that. They said, man, now it's starting to make sense, but I wasn't done. So May of 2024, because it gets worse. May of 2024, well, prior to that, I had sent a letter to the general president asking for a meeting because everybody was like, man, Hooker, you got to give him a chance. He's not that bad. Whatever beef you guys got to squash it. And like I tell everybody, I don't have a beef with nobody. I don't have a problem with nobody. That's just I don't know him well enough to dislike him or have any beef. That's just that's crazy. That sounds crazy to me. But he did disrespect my members. And whether we run on, like I said, you come after our members, we gonna fight you, and we don't care who you are. Just the bottom line. So pick people on the previous board, slap my members all in the upside of the head. You didn't even care. So talk to the 804 brothers about that, right? So in negotiations, we were able to negotiate us having the ability to strike in our grievance procedure. Like we can go on strike just like the Central Region can. And so, man, UPS is doing UPS things, just just doing dumb stuff, violating the contract, not wanting to hear cases at our panel. And let me stop right there real quick because before I keep going. So at when we negotiated our panel was supposed to start February of 2024, 6 months after the ratification of the contract. Prior to that, there was a member that we had that was off the job, and his case was docketed to another panel. So what I did was, after talking to, and I got all this in writing, and I explained this to the brothers too. Everything I'm talking about is either in writing, it's documented, audio, or video. I got it all. So I'm getting all this in writing. Hey, this brother cannot make it all the way down to, I can't remember, it was somewhere in North Carolina, South Carolina. The brother's not working. And to be honest, he was wrong. The brother was wrong. But it's our job as union officials to put our people in the best position to get their job back no matter what. This is just what we're supposed to do. The brother can't get down there. The case was docketed to the AAPGC, right? So I reached out to the chairman of the AAPGC. Hey, would it be okay if I postpone this case and hear it at my panel? Because my panel starts in February. Got it in writing. Hey, I don't see no issue. So I took it to the next level. Emailed Matt Higdon, the national panel chairman. Same thing. Nobody had an issue with it. But what I did was I wanted to make sure by the rules that I could do that. And I want y'all to keep that in mind. The rules. What does the rules say about this? So we looked at the rules. The rules don't say you couldn't do it. Contract says my panel starts in 2024 February. My brother can't get down there, and his situation is very, very is crazy because he was wrong, but what the company did to him, not justifying what he did, I'm not. I don't want nobody to say that I'm justifying somebody being wrong because that's not the case. But there's some circumstances that the company put him through that made him make a decision that he shouldn't have made. In order for him to explain that, he has to be there. I can't explain that to him, to the arbitrator or to the panel. He has to do that. That's why we postponed the case because we knew he couldn't get down there. We got our own panel right here in the city. He can walk to the panel, catch the bus to the panel. It's right here downtown. So, so as it would happen, company didn't want to do that. Oh, you got to hear it down here. Show me in the rules where it says that. It's not in the rules. Keep that in mind too. So let's go back to the meeting in May. May, uh, we finally have the meeting with O'Brien. We get on the train, me and two of my board members. We go to DC and we walk in there, man. It's O'Brien, Zuckerman, two lawyers, the package division director, and my joint council president. So we go in. 5 minutes later, my joint council president leaves, and then we start talking, right? Now I'm thinking that it's either going to be yes or no, Hooker, you could do it, Hooker, you can't, and this is why. That's what I'm thinking. Man, they had a whole nother setup and ambush what they wanted. So we go in there and sit down. O'Brien goes to his phone. Somebody must have either shared this or talked about it because it came up again. The Guardian article about the $2.9 million racial discrimination lawsuit that he was caught up in, right? He starts talking about that. I'm like, man, what is happening? We're not here for that. I'm trying to see if we can use this strike language because I followed the chain of command. I went to Joint Council President. I went to the Package Division Director. I followed every letter of the law. Boom, 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 boom. Then I got to O'Brien, sent the letter, boom, we had the meeting. I did all of that. Again, I got everything documented. So he starts talking about the $2.9 million racial discrimination lawsuit. I'm like, man, what's in my mind? I'm looking at my guys like, man, what's going on here? We didn't come here for that. He goes on and on and on about it. Then he says that I got documentation proving there was more to it if you would like to see it. I said, yeah, I would. Then he says, well, you don't trust me? I said, no, I don't. So they starts going on and on and on and on. So I said, man, you know what? Since you keep bringing this up, what about Sean Ellis, Colleen Brady, and Miss Letty? What about them? You retaliated because they supported another slate. What's up with that? Oh, the election supervisor overstepped their boundaries on that. So the $2.9 million lawsuit, that's not your fault. The retaliation suit for these three brothers, the three sisters and the brother, that's not your fault. So it ain't nobody's fault. So then guess what? He jumps back into the $2.9 million lawsuit. And he's going on and on and on about it. Then he tells me that, and I want to be careful because I don't know if this is true or not, and I don't want to talk about nobody's family, but he told me once he kept going on and on and on about the racial discrimination lawsuit that he has family members who are African American that he helps take care of. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I asked some people that know him personally. They say they never heard him talk about him. That doesn't mean that he doesn't take care of them. I don't know, but that's what he told me. So again, he goes on and on and on. Then Fred jumps in. Now this is the one that really got to me. I'm gonna be honest. Fred Fred jumped in and said that I was the reason why that a Cisco organizing drive failed in Tennessee. And I'm like, man, I'm in Philly, man. What they got to do with me? What you talking? Well, they keep talking about this $2.9 million lawsuit. I didn't do that. You guys did that. I am a black man in the union and the general president of all accounts out there, everybody to see, racially discriminated against black and brown people. I'm going to talk about that. I'm supposed to talk about that. I have to talk about that. Fred goes on and on and on. And I'm saying to myself, man, I can't believe it. Sean, all the stuff that he was saying, that's who he is, right? I expected that from him. But I didn't see this from Fred, man. And it bothered me because I started thinking about all the sacrifices that we made to get him elected. The boos, being ostracized in my local because we supported this brother. And he's sitting over there talking about I'm responsible for a drive in Tennessee that didn't work. I'm thinking about traveling all up and down the road to get him elected, going to the convention, getting booed and cussed out and screamed at, being ostracized in the local. And I'm like, man, I can't. I'm looking at this guy like, man, I can't believe you saying I spent more money to get you elected than my own self. And this is what you're saying to me now? Got you. So I didn't say nothing. What am I going to say? Right? And so they just going on about the $2.9 million. Go ahead, Yvette. I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I was accused of the same thing because of that same conversation. That it was because of the conversation we were having online about the $2.9 million lawsuit that the
Right.
brother, the driving group in our local didn't organize with us because their management played that for them. And I'm like, how are their management even watching us? They're not watching us. So yeah, I got accused of the same type of thing of killing the drive
Right.
because
So
of
it's our fault,
right.
but you the ones that did it. That makes no sense, right? So I'm telling the 804 guys and stuff, man, they looking like, man, Rich, we didn't know. I said, I got you. But this is why I'm telling people now. So and it gets worse. It gets worse. So we finally get to the point while we there. He opens up my supplement, reads it. He says, you're right. You do have the ability to strike. But then he says, I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect the members. I'm glad to hear that, I think. Is that a yes or a no? Or can we use the language or not? So I asked him again. I said, is that a yes or no? I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect the members. I'm looking around like, man, I really don't. It's yes or no. That's what I'm thinking. Ask him again. He says the same exact thing. Then it clicked to me. So when he said it the third time, I looked at Fred, Sean, the two lawyers. Johnny Sawyer was there. Now I know what it means now. Hooker, if you go on strike, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to kick you out of office and we're going to trustee your local. I'll read you loud and clear now. That's what you're going to do. So all this tough talk, bringing the members, bringing the company to their knees. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That here is a golden opportunity. Regardless of how you feel about me as a person or whatever, because I don't blindly support you, here I am, a local leader doing what they're supposed to do by the IBT standards themselves. They audited me 3 times, passed all the audits. I'm not dealing in the corruption. We do what we're supposed to do. We organize, we fight, we in the community. Here this person is coming to you because people saying I'm gonna give you a chance. You already done disrespected my local one time. All right, cool. That's okay. Come to you. Here is a olive branch of all olive branches. Right? We could really show UPS that you have messed with the wrong local. He could have said all that stuff he wanted to say, pick up the phone, and at the time it was Lindsay was still there. Hey Lindsay, listen, these guys got you, and we gonna make sure that they are able to use that. He makes that phone call, all the nonsense that UPS was doing automatically stops. I know it does. He didn't make the phone call, so what he did do, he go out and comes back with this deal from the company to resolve all these issues. It was the same trash deal that the company tried to get me to sign like weeks prior to that meeting. There was a reason why I turned it down because it was trash. It's a trash deal. And so what do you do when you go to the people you're supposed to go to let you use whatever advantage or tool that you have to fight the company and they won't let you do? You're gonna kick me out of office. You're gonna trust me with local. So what am I supposed to do? Disrespect the local again. But thank God we tell our members every single thing. I mean, and one of the things that as shop stewards we're taught, you write down everything, take notes on everything. So what I did was I typed up on that train every single thing that happened in that meeting, every word, everything, because I wanted to make sure that I gave my members an accurate account of what the general president did to them. Because it's not me that they're hurting. It wasn't me. It's my members. And again, what did we tell our members from when we first ran? Because we experienced this from the previous administration. If anybody comes against our local, this is what we were going to do. We didn't care if it was the company, definitely not the company, or any employer. The IBT, politician, whoever, this is what we were going to do. And that's what we're going to continue to do no matter what. So once we got through that part, the brothers from 804, they got a better understanding of why we are running. And I know this is not the only logo that's happening in. I know it's not. But if nobody stands up to this kind of behavior in this organization, it's going to continue. It's going to continue. It's going to grow. Members are going to feel isolated, like they don't have a voice. And I refuse to have members especially in my local, feel as though that we're not going to fight for them because that was a big issue for our members back in the day. When our leaders stood up and said they weren't going to fight the IBT, knowing they were harming our members, I'm telling you, I was a ranking file. I'm in those union member meetings. I'm there. I'm looking at the frustration and the disgust and the anger on our members' faces. I know how they felt because I felt the same way. So when people ask, and it gets worse, it gets worse. But I'm gonna wait till later on to talk about this because I just want to open it up to everybody here. But this is the same guy talked all that stuff, but here's a golden opportunity for us to do something, and it doesn't happen. And again, everything I talked about, anything that you see me post, whatever, I got documentation, video, audio, whatever. We've we've done everything to the letter of the standard that the IBT has set out for us. Just because we don't agree on the policy of the general president does not give him the right to just disregard and disrespect local leaders and their members because they don't go along with the get along. There was a reason why. And this is the reason why we're going to run. We're going to, whatever happens next year is going to happen. But my 623 members and other members who are in the same position that my members are in, we're going to continue to stand up and fight because one of the biggest things that I hate is disrespect, harassment, intimidation from anybody. If you go to work every day, you paying union dues, there's a level of respect that you have gained and earned. When those things are taken away from you or disrespected, it's up to the leadership to stand up and fight back. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I don't care what the price is, what the cost is. I don't care how many people make memes, talk crazy. That stuff doesn't bother me. Because again, in 2016, from 2013 to about 2019, all we heard from our previous leadership was that they were going to do whatever, they were not going to stand up to the IBT. Um, and they didn't care. As long as the IBT, I guess, was happy, they didn't care if our members were happy or not. To me, that makes no sense. We don't work for the IBT. Sean O'Brien is not our boss. He works for us. And somehow, some way, we have flipped that around to believe that they are the kings, they are whatever. And it's not that. It's not that. But again, our members are being beat up. They're being beat up because you say something, they come down on you. That don't work on me. That hasn't worked on me. And it's not going to work on me. So again, when we talked to them 804 brothers, we went from A to Z and we told them about all that stuff. And they couldn't believe it. And everybody around couldn't believe it. And now you guys know that from my point of view, that this is the same guy that threatened Matt Taibbi, got suspended for it. This is the same guy that was acting crazy at the convention. This is the same guy that told 804 back in the day they should give up 25 and out. This is the same guy that forced those 18 supplements on people. This is the same guy that said that if you don't we was gonna bring UPS to the knees. It's the same guy that said we organized 90,000 people, but then when you look at the LM2, it shows that we down 2,000 people. My man is gonna say whatever it takes for you guys to vote for him. Look what he said in 2021 about Trump on stage. Trump is trash. Now I'm just paraphrasing it. But go back and look at it again. Everything I'm saying, you're gonna go back and watch. Trump is trash. He ain't no good. We gotta educate our members. We gotta do this. We gotta stick with the working class. Boom, 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 boom. That sounded good. But that's the same guy that wouldn't let 623 members use that language to fight the company. The same guy that picked a couple of people who my members voted out to represent them at the table. This is the same dude. I don't care what nobody says. Then I found out something else a couple of days ago. I'm not gonna talk about it yet. All this stuff, man, and I don't know why people are so afraid of this dude. I don't. I just don't get it. But we will not be what we need to be until we change the system that's in place. It's just not gonna happen. It's and I found that out that the system is what's driving people. I put up a post yesterday. I put up a post yesterday that my slate here at the local, everybody knows. If you don't know, we made history in October. For the first time in the history of our local, there were no challengers in the office's election. That's because we did everything that we said we were going to do. Not perfect, not going to win them all, but everything we said that we were going to do, we did. And our members rewarded us for that, right? So we went out and celebrated, right? I'll put it up, man. Some brother, and then this is not about the brother. This is about the system. These people are willing to do whatever it takes to protect this system so they can continue to get their $18,000 rep, their $20,000 for being a rep. They want to keep that no matter what. So put the picture up there. We're talking about something totally different. My man come on there. There's gonna be some sad faces and the fearless slate. And I'm like, man, what this ain't got nothing to do with that, bro. But this is what's going on, man. These folks are just brainwashed. And like I said, I don't know the brother. I think I may have seen him one time in my 27 years. So I can't talk about him because I don't know him. And he don't know me. None of these folks that they see chirping don't know me. None of them. None of them know me. They don't know the price that I had to pay to get here, the sacrifices. They haven't walked in my shoes, and that's why I don't go back and forth with people because I don't know what you went through. I don't know what your sacrifices are. I don't know that. But you see this, and it reminds me of what was happening when Hopper Verma was running. They used to always attack them for going along with the get along, not fighting the company, corrupted. They can't say that about me. They can't say none of that about me. So they got to come up and manufacture things because the previous narrative used to always work. It's not gonna work this time. Everybody, whether you agree with me or not, policy wise, me as a person, nobody on this planet that's a Teamster could say Richard Hooker and 623 does not work. We got plenty of receipts. We got all kind of things to show for it. Even by the standard of the IBT, we do good, we do great work. Not good work, but great work. And so, what is it about me that causes people to think that I couldn't do the job? I'm doing the job now. What is it? Free from corruption, run a clean local. What is it? It's not about experience because look at what the experience has got us so far. Buildings closing, right? Things shutting down. My man playing around with the most anti-union administration ever. Christie known what? Oh my, that's a whole nother story for another day, right?
100%.
But I wanted to tell people the reason why, and the most concerning part of why I'm running. There is a better option. It is. And this is going to come down to rank and file people knowing that there's a better option, right? This is crazy what's happening. The stuff that he has done, not to just 623, he's done it to a whole lot of locals. You don't hear it from them because they're afraid. If I showed you guys some of the messages I get from people who say, Hooker, we're not going to argue with you. You're right. But I can't speak out. I can't stand up because he's going to take resources away from me organizing. He's very vindictive. He's going to retaliate. Listen, one of the brothers that donated to our campaign, they messing with him. Why? But that's what we're up against. That's what we're up against. So anybody ask you, man, Hooker, man, why are you running? Point them to this video. Because there's more. There's more, but we're gonna save that for another time because it gets worse. It gets way worse, and that's when I'm going to challenge every single member. When you hear this next part later on down the line, right? What are you going to do? Because it's going to come down to you. When you get that ballot, O'Brien is not going to be there to bully you. When you go to the delegate election and you get in that booth, O'Brien is not going to be there to bully you. He's not going to retaliate. He's not going to be able to intimidate because that's what he likes to do. And the reason why all this stuff is happening is because we refuse to bow. And I'm not going to. Again, what did we run on back in 2019? If anybody means anybody. That's what it means. Employer, politician, whoever. If you disrespect my members, we're going to stand up and fight back. And he did that multiple times, and he doesn't care. But it's not just to my local. He has done it to other locals. I'm just not going to sit by and just let it go on. I'm just not going to do that. And again, everything I've said, documented proof, whether it be written, email, video, audio, we got it. Because everybody heard him say that he was going to bring UPS to their knees. Everybody heard that. How you bring UPS to their knees and you got full timers in certain areas, work 4 hours, go home 4 or 5 hours, got to come back and do another 4 or 5 hours. Who is brought to their knees? Grievances still take a long time. They still, UPS don't care. They don't care. They don't care, man. I'm telling you. And so it's it's a big mess. But enough of me talking. We're gonna hear Chris. Chris, I know you driving, man. I know you got a lot to say about this. Chris? Well, I'm gonna go to you, Yvette, until Chris get right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely a lot going on. These elections, period, it's something that need to be addressed as a whole. We got a lot going on around the country when it comes to our elections at Teamster locals and the stuff that should be happening in the background, which disenfranchises our members from actually getting a chance to vote. Like nobody should have to deal with retaliation. Nobody should have to be bullied or forced to, vote a certain way in order to keep their positions. Those type of things should be happening. It should be a democratic process where if you're a dues paying member, you got a right to choose who you would like
Right,
to see, take care of whatever, the local, the international, it all should be because that's your choice, not because you were forced. Or you have, like I say, other things in the background helping to guide elections in certain ways, which is not good for the members. If and that should be the ultimate goal to make sure our members are doing well.
exactly.
Like it's not about, whoever the leaders are, because as you say, the leaders were elected to work for the membership.
That's right.
And so if that's not your goal, you should not be there doing that. If the goal is for you just to get whatever you can get, then you shouldn't be at the top of the local. You should really be helping every member. It's not just the select ones who voted for you
Right.
or certain groups. It should be everybody, whether it's white paper or national masters. Whatever type of agreement your members have, they should be a priority within, each local. And so it's a lot of work that's gonna have to be done, but I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
that, uh, we members will be able to, as rank and file, change this thing. We got to take one local at a time. We'll
One,
get
right.
there.
I agree.
But it will be a fight, and we can't give up. Like if it's something that needs to be done, and you don't do anything about it, you're complicit in the matter, and we can't be
Exactly.
that.
But
So we must continue to fight. So
you're
I
right.
refuse to be complicit with nonsense when we have avenues that everybody don't have. I mean, to have a union contract, especially in the South in a right to work state, is a super blessing.
Yeah.
We should not underutilize it at all. We
Right.
should, enforce everything we can enforce it in all ways that we can enforce it, and make sure our members are aware of their rights and how to enforce these type of contracts. So,
Right.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be some work, but it can happen. It can get done. the people who are, coming in bringing all the negative drama to people's posts, which is crazy. You're supposed to be brothers and sisters, right?
But
And so if
sis,
I'm
you're right.
telling
You're right.
if I'm telling the truth about something, I mean, you can't be mad at me for telling the truth
Can't be
about
really
something.
mad at telling the truth.
And like I said, just like you say, anything I'm saying to you has been documented in one way or
Documented.
another. Email, audio, video. It's somewhere that I can pull. And like I say, it can be produced via a subpoena. That's all it
Check
takes is a subpoena.
check this out, because I left this part out. And again, what did we tell people when we ran? If anybody comes against 623 members, we were going to do what we needed to do. So check this out, right? So it was a couple of things that were very, very important in our supplement, right? Very, very important. Number one issue was the panel. Got the panel. And let me tell you real quick about that because I really don't want this to be somebody try to change the narrative about this. So we had calls, might have been every week or every other week, with all the supplemental chairmen, what was open, because you remember for the first time, they reversed it. So before the national go first, then the supplementals go. This time they flipped it, so we were kind of at a disadvantage a little bit on some of the things. One of the things that well, two things we run it above anything: panel, our own panel, and we wanted more sick and personal time because COVID really went crazy in my local, just like a other. But in that airport building, man, it was a disaster. And at that time, I think they were getting ready to cut the COVID pay. So what we wanted, because in our supplement, we get 3 sick days, 7 personal days. What we wanted was to increase the sick time because we know the COVID pay was getting ready to run out, but COVID was still going to be around, and we still wanted our members to get paid when they got sick. So we wanted, you know, it's easy. We wanted more sick time. That's what we
Makes sense.
wanted.
Right.
Right. My members weren't budging on that, and I wasn't going to budge either. So on the calls, I always brought it up. Hey, this is where we hanging up at. Don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of your sick time, personal time. All right, cool. Next week or the other week after, don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of it. So what I started doing was I started putting in writing. I sent it to the economist and the package division. Hey, haven't heard anything. What's going on? Because don't forget, the people that you sent up there from my local, they ain't telling us nothing. I said, we don't know anything, right? So I'm emailing them. Boom. Again, I got everything I'm telling you guys documented. Sending it to them. Mr. Richard, so and so, we're gonna take care of your sick time person. We got you. Don't worry about it. Cool. So come to find out they didn't get me. They didn't have me at all. I asked questions, hey, what happened? Oh man, we had to do this, we had to do that, but you told me you had me. What happened? And then the whole panel thing, I remember talking to O'Brien himself. Called me on the phone. Hey, what's going on down there? I'm hearing that you guys can't move. I said, Sean, we're not going to sign anything unless we get this panel. We're just not. We're not doing nothing. It ain't gonna happen. He said, all right, cool. I'm gonna see what I can do. Boom, boom. He called me back. Said, hey, got you the panel. I said, well, what about the sick time? Don't worry about the sick time. We're gonna take care of you. All right, man. The head man said he gonna take care of me. I got you. All right, cool. Email, boom, 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 boom. Nothing. So, like any other educated union member, you know there's certain things that your supplement is responsible for. Vacation time, sick time, personal time, that's all handled by your supplement. So my members, very rightfully so, they upset. Hey, Hooker, you told us, man, we were gonna get this, man. They coming at me. I said, ho, ho, ho. Come to the meeting on this date, and we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna show you what happened. Because people were trying to make up their own narrative. Oh man, Hooker, man, he said this, nah, 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 nah. I didn't even go back and forth with him, right? Come back, let's come to the meeting. So we go to the meeting, and I know it's a hot topic. You know what I did, sis? I put the whole email chain up on a
That's
projector,
right.
and,
Okay.
and, and my members saw it. They were like, what? I said, I told y'all, man, this is what's happening. When I tell you, we tell our members every single thing, we tell them every single thing. So now my members, they super mad. First, you send people there that we voted out. Then you sell us out again. You sell us out again. And this is before the meeting in May that I went down there for the meeting about using the strike language. Man, my members are hot. So I'm gonna tell you what one of my members did. They called the IBT package division. I said, hey, 623 member, just trying to find out what happened to sick time. We were told that we were going to get it. Guess what they did? First thing they started doing, blaming me. Oh man, Hooker, he did that. That's in the supplement. Blah 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 blah. He said, ho ho ho. We just saw the email that y'all said y'all was going to take care of it. They couldn't say nothing. Couldn't say a word. And again, we got all this stuff on documented. So when people start asking, man, Hooker, why, Bummer? This guy is the same dude that y'all said he wasn't. Same guy. Same exact guy. I don't care what you say, what you do. He is the same person that was in the Hoffa, that was bullying people, retaliating against people, forcing contracts on people, telling people to take concessions. He is the same dude. He is. You can't tell me in 623 members anything different. Now, in your situation, it may be, you may think it's all right, but not here. And not in other places that I'm finding out that we go traveling to. It's not, they feel the same way we do, right? So that is what's going on. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep fighting. So however you feel, you can feel that way. But again, you haven't walked in our shoes. You haven't experienced the stuff that we've experienced. And I get it. Hey man, you may think this brother is the best thing since sliced bread. And I got you. I understand that. Especially coming from Haifa. Somebody comes in, talks stronger, younger, speeches about bootstraps and helmets. That sounds good, right? When my members heard him say that he was going to bring, and a lot of members, that he was going to bring UPS down to their knees, that meant something because of all the 20 years prior to what was happening. Now you see what's happening, man, people don't want to hear that no more. So, um, hey, Chris, you ready yet?
Oh yeah, I'm right here.
Go ahead.
So, we are asking a snake to become a wolf, right? That behavior that he has exhibited in times past ain't never gonna change because he was raised that way. That's what delivered him to the place where he's at, right? They don't have any warrior instincts in them because they have never been down on the rock. When a guy tell you he a third and fourth generation Teamster, it means he been living good for a long time. Okay.
Uh,
Struggle really,
okay.
really looks like.
Mm.
And so they look at these things as they're the heir, H-E-I-R, to a thing, right? I'm the president of Local 25. Local 25 have produced more general presidents
Yeah.
in this union than any other. So therefore, I'm heir to this thing that's been going on. They have no idea of trade unionism, right? Of the historical struggles that got us to where we are today, right? If this union was about anything, they would actually have some place, they would build a statue of Ron Carey uh, up there in that building. They'd have some kind of Hall of Fame or something like that for what happened back in, I believe it was 97.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the members are being misled, and not enough members are getting any information at all, right? As you said, come to work, go home, I got
Right.
my check, you know, I don't got no grievance because I wasn't looking for nothing. I don't care that the supervisor did any work.
Right.
That's probably 75% of the membership,
Right.
right? The question is, how do we get them to recognize that their lack of involvement is choking the 25 or 35% that are engaged, right? That's what does that language look like to make them recognize? Does that language exist?
I think it does, Chris. I think people need to hear the truth. So if every time I hear historic contract, if every time I hear that this is happening, but I'm not telling you the full, open, honest, and accountable truth, then that's what I'm going to believe. So
Well, it is a historic contract, right? It has produced the most amount of layoffs
yeah,
probably in UPS history,
right,
right?
right,
It has pushed guys that were feeder drivers and whatnot into split shifts and whatnot.
yeah,
Probably has never had that kind of a result coming off of a collective bargaining agreement
hmm,
in the history of the UPS. So in that regard, it's historically negative for the 48,000 people that have lost their job,
right,
right?
right.
And there is no war that says uh, the PVDs or PVDs
They still
and
there. They changed the name of
Rudy
it,
and
the
them,
SSD,
right?
right?
They still there working every day, but the Teamster member, the dues paying member, he's gone.
And then you got the situation with Rhodey. That's another issue that was going on, and I didn't find this out. It Rhodey started doing this kind of stuff back in 2021, and so the people in these leadership positions they knew that this was happening and didn't negotiate around it to help us fight it, and so now we're being reactive yet again instead of proactive, and it puts all of us in a bad place, a bad place, But to your
There
point,
should
Chris,
be language.
huh?
There should have been language that said all these contractors got to go before a Teamster is laid off,
Yeah.
right? How can you be laying me off and this contractor is still there and he ain't a plumber?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Doing our work, right? Doing the work that is recognized under the collective bargaining agreement
Hmm.
as Teamster work, right? So I've always been suspicious of a lot of these guys because anytime you hear a guy coming out and saying this is the greatest thing and what have you, uh, that's not for you to say. That's for your members to say. And this is the best contract we ever had, right?
Right. Now, some people,
So
now some people, they do feel that way because of the money. And if you look at the money, 750 over 5 years, that has been the largest wage increase. But the downside is you may not even be able to work because the building is closed, your shift is closed, or you got to travel X amount of miles more to get to work. So you're not even going to see that money.
right. So you lost the money in gasoline. You lost the money in having to go home and come back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make 8 hours,
yeah.
right? Inconvenience, right? So that's why you have to be careful about. I tell my members all the time. I say you got to be careful about what you're asking for, right? Because we live in a capitalist world. I just was at an event on Wednesday. Uh, they were chastising, not calling him by name, but Namdani.
Mm,
Right? And I said, Namdani didn't overthrow the New York City government. He was elected by the people. He ran with less money than all the other candidates
right.
had, right? and won overwhelmingly. So why are you dogging? Why are you dogging them down? And this is coming from so-called Democrats. And that's to your point. I don't care who attacks my member. You attack my member, you attack me.
That's it,
It's very
Chris.
personal.
And
Oh
and
yeah,
and,
we
and
going to
that's
war.
what I was telling the 804 brothers. Again, very respectful, very good conversation. It was so good that when the first group of brothers left, the brother who was leading the charge in the conversation, he went out, came back with another brother, and we were talking about these issues. And because like the sister said in the podcast, that people don't know. They don't know the concerns because
No,
the local is not going to tell them, right? Because they're in fear of retribution from O'Brien. So when you run on something, you got to produce it because I know what it felt like to watch my leadership at the time say, "Hey, we're not going to do anything to upset the IBT, and your members are hurting." And then for the delegate election back in 2016, they said we going to protest in silence. How you going to protest in silence, man, when your members didn't need you to go down there and fight and make some noise? That's how we ended up there because they couldn't go because of the fear of the system. And that's what we're gonna have to get rid of because this is bigger than myself or Brian and anybody.
yeah,
If we don't change this system, because I saw it today when my man came on the post and started just talking crazy, I said, man, this ain't even about me or Brian. This is about self-preservation. This is about making
yeah.
sure that I get a position, a stipend, or whatever. This ain't nothing
And
about,
that stipend is more important
yeah,
than the rise of the union to greater and greater power.
man,
So
Chris.
that those people look and see, recognize that what you're saying, what Fearless is saying is true,
Mhm.
but refuse to put that money at risk. Let me tell you something.
Right.
And George Washington uh, was arguably one of the richest men in America at the time when they declared independence from England. He didn't have to. He could have went along. He could have went along. He put everything on the line. Now, yes, he had slaves and blah 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 blah. But so what, right? I mean, that was just the reality of that time. I'm not judging him in that regard. I'm just talking about the fact that he had a plantation. He had enslaved people on the plantation. He was rich as living hell. And if England had won, he would have lost everything, right?
Right.
And these people, for $5, 10, $20,000, would rather see the Union languish in weakness than to grow in strength,
Yep. Chris,
right?
there's a brother, and everybody know who he is. He made a lot of fake profiles, right? This brother, he says some of the craziest stuff that I've ever heard when he posts that I ever read when he posts stuff, right? One of his posts said that something about me being scared of conflict. And he said that I don't go to conventions, I don't go to panels, and something else that I don't go to. So my member saw that. He said, so they want you to go to a brewery conference when we don't have any brewery members. So when you come back and you stand in front of us, the first thing I'm going to ask you is why you're there when we don't have any brewery members. So you just wasting our
Right,
money.
right.
I said, I get that. Y'all get that, but that's the narrative that they want to spin because they can't attack our work. So they got to try to find some other stuff to try to bring up. And this brother's getting, I believe he's getting 18,000, and everybody know who he is. But we ain't trying to go out there and bash them out, man. Do you? Do what you got to do, man. I got you.
Yeah,
Keep getting your $18,000. I got
get
you.
you 18. That's it.
Right. I got you. Right. But you're proving our point. Every time these guys post something, they prove our point more and more and
Yeah,
more and more. But it's baffling to me that they're willing to do all these things because out of fear, out of a stipend, out of getting another salary, and then you know this is wrong. You know, I was at a local and the BA came out and was like, "Hey man, I can't sign a petition, but just know that we ain't down with what's going on. This whole thing with Trump and the stuff that's happening in the contract, we got you." So okay, and I understand why you can't sign it. I got you.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're gonna have to start pushing. When you get in that booth at the convention, nobody's going to be to see how you voted. Nobody. Nobody's going to know. It's going to be you and God. That's it.
That's right.
When you get your ballot in the mail come next October, you and God, nobody else.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
going to be able to bully you, intimidate you, none of that, right? But it's not
But you're not
this
intimidating the company. You're not intimidating the
right.
company.
Man,
You intimidating your own soldiers.
right.
So how does that make you a
I mean,
tough
look,
guy?
look at the charge they filed on us not long ago, Chris. They filed the charge for wanting to organize Amazon. Think about that for a minute. Just think about
Yeah.
it. The call was to go out and do it. You filed a charge on me for doing it. What does that say about the leadership? Again, this is the same dude. I don't care what nobody say. This is the same dude harassed Taby and them guys, forced all these supplements on people, right? Got suspended, the top shelf, told 804 to give up your 25 and out. This is the same dude. It's the same exact dude, man. I'm telling you, he's not gonna change unless we make him change.
No,
Go ahead,
you can't
Demetria.
change. You can't. Can I just say one thing?
Oh, go ahead.
Because you ain't gonna change and make a snake into a wolf.
Right.
Okay. We need wolves in leadership, not snakes. Right? We need lions in
Yeah.
leadership, not snakes. So you ain't gonna change them. They got to be getting rid of. And these local unions have got to understand, unless they are suffering from Stockholm syndrome, that no leader, no union, no organization should function in fear.
Mm-mm.
And if that's the way you function, then you can never be the best that you can be.
It's not gonna happen, Chris.
You can never be the
You know,
best that
because
you
you're
can be.
always, man, if right, because you're always watching over your back. If I say
You're
this,
always
what this
watching your
guy
back.
gonna
Yeah.
say? Is he man, Krista, when my man told me, and I love this brother, respect him dearly. When he told me, yeah, Hooker, man, if I speak out, they're gonna withhold resources from my Amazon. He's very vindictive. And I'm like, oh my God, man. Why? Why people won't speak up and stand up against this dude? I don't know what he got on people. I really don't. I don't get it. Go ahead, Sister Shaw.
Sorry about that. I'm driving trying to get to this banquet. I wanted to answer Brother Chris. Um there is language in the Southern Supplement under Article 32 about subcontracting. Can you hear me?
Is anybody laid off from your local union?
Oh, absolutely. There's and matter of fact, there's it's about subcontracting layoffs and not supplementing the work, of course. I filed the grievance using Article 32 because they have contractors in the building that does porter work. They come in and according to the company, um these subcontractors that clean up the building are supposed to be 2 feet from the wall and only supposed to clean the bathrooms and the offices. But every time I ask for any kind of language or where is this written, they never give it to me. So they're 2 feet off the wall and all of that. And these people are in the building, they outnumber any porters, they outnumber us, and they are there 24/7 inside the building and outside the building. So yes, there is language on it.
Mm.
Well, that means that somebody not enforcing the language then. not taking the grievance forward.
The grievance supposedly went to a panel, and I was told that if I wanted a copy of the actual what is it called when it goes to this deposition, if I want a copy of the transcript or the deposition, that I would have to pay for it. Mind you, we had 32 porters to sign off on that grievance, and it came back as a no contract violation.
How much is a copy of the transcript?
It's he told me I needed $500, and if it was less than that, then they would compensate me, but I wasn't about to pay no $500 for that.
Well, the 19 porters should have came up and split the $500.
They requested that, they offered that, and but I just let that be a part of another situation that I have, and let them let these other people get it for free.
Mm. Church lady. No, Mama Spears.
I'm here. Go ahead. What would you say?
Nah, I was gonna see, did you have anything to add?
You know what I was going to add was that I was in Vegas at the time when you got up to spoke, when Fred Zuckerman, and
Oh
that was
yeah,
my
you talking
first,
2016, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, that was my first time experiencing that, because I was mad, because I'm like, you don't give a person a chance to talk. I was really, really surprised in that. I was very surprised in them doing that. And it's pretty sad that all this is going on.
It's the same.
I mean,
I remember
it, it,
some of the stuff that they said that it ran on was that things are gonna be different, that behavior is not gonna it's gonna be non-existent. And look what's going on. It's the
same thing.
same situation, man. These, like you said, Chris, you can't, these folks don't change, man. And unfortunately, for us, we the ones that gotta deal with it. So for this next year, we're gonna be talking about how we fix it, you know, concrete plans on how we fix this system of retaliation and autocracy. And folks want to be a king, and if you speak out, you the enemy. And because like I told our team earlier this week, man, that I always struggle with how far do you go? Because no matter what, O'Brien is not the enemy. He's not. It's the CEOs, these crooked politicians, these folks we should be fighting against. But it's difficult when the union leader is placating to these people. Like when you see him with Christine Nome and her organization is throwing working class people, just scooping them up. The brother from SEIU, the president of that local out there, scooped him up. I had 20 some odd members at Oregon Avenue get scooped up by ICE. And these folks are being taken away from their families, man. And the union leader is in a picture with her. That's crazy to me. Then you look at what's going on with the attacks on labor, and he's standing with that side, and we want to talk about bipartisan. I'm sorry, I can't be bipartisan with a person who has been responsible for the issues that I'm going through. If you're trying to take away my health care, my benefits, my contract, my protections, I can't work with you because you have shown that you're my enemy. And I just don't understand that. I don't get it.
So sometimes your enemy gets in your house,
Mm,
right? So if you go back into the Soviet Union, Gorbachev was the enemy who they had built up and filtered into the system to take down and destroy the Soviet Union. Right? And so we have to, it's not that our union heads, some who are misleaders, right? Because they approach the work as a business, as if the union is an insurance company,
Right.
as opposed to an elevator of the working class. So they have no construct. But when they get into certain position, when you are now dancing with the most anti-union administration, certainly since I've been in America since 1970, I have never seen, I don't even think Ronald Reagan was this bad. And Ronald Reagan was bad.
Yeah.
And this tops the cake, right? So when you're in a position and you are not speaking out against 1 million workers losing collective bargaining rights, when you're not speaking out against the dismantling of due process, right? So you can scoop some people up if you know something about them, but there's a process, right? You don't separate the children and all this kind of foolishness. And you would think that if you're going to do these things, you would go after people that have shown criminal intent, not some guy that drove through a red light, but somebody that robbed somebody or raped somebody or some nefarious act. But you're going into schools, going into
Right.
churches,
Yep.
right? What trade unionists would think that made sense, right? And I'm gonna take you one step better, because you claim you got this relationship, right? If you had that relationship, then go get Trump to call Jeff Bezos and sign a contract with the Teamsters to put Amazon under a master contract. Then call me back and tell me something, and I might have to bow down at that point.
Right.
But Trump ain't never gonna call Bezos and tell him no dumb junk like that, because he's not a believer in trade unionists.
Exactly.
They have class interest,
Right.
right? So what are you, O'Brien, campaigning for? It certainly ain't no position in the government, because you ain't qualified. Nobody giving you no position in the government. And I don't even know I can't even think of anyone who spoke at both the Democratic convention and the Republican convention. I can't even think of that person, who that person was. Yeah. So why did you think that you were going to be that person? Who are you? Right? Yeah. So, and I'm going to say this, the government pumped him up the way the government pumped up Hoffa, because they should have known that Hoffa in 1991 was ineligible to run for office. And Larry Brennan gave him a job at the Joint Council to give him membership in the union. The government should have saw through that and says, that's a scam, right? And killed that. But the government is corrupt as well. And the government don't want the union to have militant leadership.
No.
Right? So they had to choke off Ron Kerry, right? And they did not want another Ron Kerry or someone who would be as militant or more militant than Ron Kerry, right? So the government is also corrupt, right? And I believe that Sean O'Brien is a stooge of the government, okay? I don't want to call him the deep state. I'm not too sure what the deep state is, but But certainly there are forces, and I believe that there are forces that is making him do what he is doing. And I'm looking at the assemblage of his slate, looking at certain parties that are now members of his slate, and you have to wonder if what person who is the head of a union, well, that's not true. Some of them actually, but there's some of them, because what's more important to them is white nationalism, right? That's more important than having a thriving and strong trade union movement. Because it certainly isn't for strengthening the labor movement that you remain quiet while workers lose collective bargaining rights, and you somehow feel that you can placate the king forever. The king is never satisfied. The king is never satisfied. The king is going to want one sheep on Monday and 10 on Friday. And when you don't have no more sheep, the king will have no more use of you, and you'd go into the gas chamber or wherever they send them after they finish using them up. You'll be useless, right? But there's an impact to the working class in terms of whether we expand coverage of pensions to more workers, whether we expand. I don't even need a health plan. We need to have universal health care and get that cost off the table for unions having to negotiate that kind of money, right? So that we could see more money going into our members' pocket. Where is the leadership talking about increasing the federal minimum wage to a real living wage, right? You don't see that, right? You don't see that. You have some trolls running around wondering whether Richard Hooker having a hot dog or not. What do you care?
Yeah, that
You know,
I've never seen it like this, man. I mean, when they used to talk about Hoffa and anybody that ran, man, they used to kill him, and it was the same type of rhetoric, same type. But they used to always throw in that they were corrupt, they were with the company, they was with this. But this is totally different because they can't use those things to describe me. So they got to come up with all this other stuff. I done seen so many narratives, Chris. It wouldn't believe it. I don't go back and forth with these people because I'm just not gonna do that. But another thing is, man, we out here doing some real good work, man, and I don't have time to go back and
no
forth with
time for that.
people
No.
who gotta do things like that. It's
You
crazy
can't
to
win
me.
that battle.
No.
Yeah, you can't sully your hands. You remember when I texted you the other day and I said to
Yep.
you, don't
Yep.
ever change who you are.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
They want you
Yeah.
to
To go
come
back
down
and
into
forth.
that gutter,
Yep.
right? I tell them I'm not a gutter snipe,
No.
right? I'm not a rodent.
Mm-mm.
I'm a wolf.
Yep.
I'm a lion, right? So they can't understand it. They can't understand somebody that won't take a bribe. They can't understand
Right.
somebody that won't sell their soul for 20, 30,000. What kind
Right.
of Negro are you? Who is
Yeah.
this guy?
Right.
Right? But I use the word Negro to supplement for what they're really saying.
Mm.
Right? And
Mm.
the other ones that's going along, right? That you seeing that you're in a country that is trying to devalue Black life, trying to devalue Black women, trying to devalue the working class, and you would take $1 from that person, you're in question. You're in question. You would put yourself together with somebody who would lead. Can you imagine leading an insurrection against your own country?
Huh.
And you the president?
Yeah.
Because on January 6th, he was still the president,
Right.
right? And look at the people that he has pardoned,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then when you ask him about it, he say, "Oh, I didn't know him." So wait a minute, so you just pardon people don't know who they are?
Yo,
He's just running around here.
yeah,
Oh, just pardon him, right? Because I want to pardon Diddy too. Wait, why don't pardon Diddy, right? Pardoning people worse than him, as far as I'm concerned,
right.
right? Free Diddy, right?
Mm.
Pardon Sata Shukur,
Yeah,
right?
yep. Yeah, but
We're
I
not
didn't want
doing
to.
that.
Yeah, I didn't want to stay on here too long. But
No,
that
I hear.
conversation that I had, like I said, in Chicago with the 804 brothers, man, and then listening to that, not listening, but reading that comment on a show I did with Roland Martin, man, I wanted to have a discussion, and we're going to continue to do this because I didn't even give everything out, but I wanted
Roland
people to.
Martin's interview was an exceptionally good interview,
Oh, thank you,
and
thank you.
a lot of African Americans are in tune with Roland Martin's
Yeah,
show.
they are.
You understand what I'm saying? And he reached a lot of people. So there are going to be people in our community who's going to say, hey, you know this guy Richard Hook is a Teamster, he was on Roland Martin. Everybody running to see that video,
Yeah, yeah, it's got a nice
right?
amount of views
It's going.
so
Let me
far.
tell you something. It
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 got
it
excellent
it is
views.
going to resonate. Yeah, it's going to resonate.
Yep, yep,
No, no, no. Let me rephrase that. It is resonating
yeah, yeah,
as we speak, because people can go, because it's streaming or whatever they're carrying
right,
on.
right.
People can go back and look things up and watch that interview again and again and again and pass it on, share it and so forth like
Yeah,
that.
because I was reading some of the comments. There was a Teamster sister, man, said some things, and that's the thing that really I try to find the words to describe it. So when people don't really know you, they say certain things that don't describe who you are, and sometimes you gotta kind of hold back from really telling them because it- it's it's not worth it. Because I'm reading the thing, man. He never sat down with O'Brien. I did sit down with him, and this is what he did. But
Right.
they don't know that, and so they say certain things, man. I'm like, man, and I hate that because it makes us look like we're just like you said, like the word you always use, like we're just stooges, and we're just blindly following people just because they
Yeah.
saying certain things, and I'm afraid if I don't, you know, if I don't be quiet or if I just keep to myself, keep my head down, things will go away. And it's bad because people say some of the craziest things about me in this movement. And I'm like, you don't even know me, bro. You don't know me, sis. You just don't, you haven't sacrificed and worked. You haven't been in my shoes, just like I haven't been in your shoes. That's why I don't go back and forth with people, because I don't know the price you paid to get where you are. You
That's it.
don't know the price that was paid for me to be in this position. You don't know. You don't know what June 18th, 2018 meant for me and my family and my local and the stuff that happened that day. You don't know. You don't, and I don't know the stuff that O'Brien went through to get there, or Fred, or anybody. So that's why I'm very, very careful of what I say, because I don't know the price that was paid for you to get there. So I'm very, very careful with that. And people just don't know the price that was paid for me to get in this position. So when I see certain things, man, it's like you don't even know. Sis, you don't know. How you gonna make a statement and you don't know anything? I only either seen you one or two times, and the two times that you met me, you said you know all this. And the one time you met me, you all this. And some of the stuff people say, they never met me at all. But they're listening to
No,
people because that I gotta keep getting that $20,000. I gotta keep getting that $18,000. I gotta get that. I gotta keep getting that position because I want to go spend my members' money on a steak dinner or sit at the bar or do this and feel important. I gotta keep getting those things because I can't do it on my own. I gotta get with this because that's the only way I'm going to get it. And that's what this is about. It's about that system of just, hey, we gotta keep it like this because if it changes, I may not get this stipend. I may not get this
it's,
position. I may can't go and get that steak dinner and go to the bar with my friends or go and do that. So I got to do whatever I can to knock the next man or the next woman down because they may stop me from getting this extra steak dinner at the panel or
This,
at the convention.
I could have been riding with Jimmy Hoffa for 22 years,
Hmm.
right? But I knew that my character couldn't work in that environment. You understand the point I'm saying? I'm
Hmm.
not going to sell I'm not going to sell out what I believe in and what I stand for to collect 80, 100, 200, 300, 500,000. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay? Because my name,
Yeah.
my reputation is more important to me than having some fancy pension plan or extra money or whatever like that. I live I live within my means, and when I wanna bust out, I bust out and just phone company just gotta wait a month. That's all. You know what I'm saying? You already got enough money. You don't need another dollar from me. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be we have yeah no no but see, because this is what's going on,
Yeah. You're
right?
right. You're right.
If
You're right.
Because you can't tell me, brother, sister, you
Hmm.
anti-Trump, but you riding with a guy that is pro-Trump. You posing with Christy Nome?
Yeah. That's the one that did it,
Are you kidding?
Chris. When I saw that picture, because somebody sent it to me, I felt all the other stuff that he was doing, going to speak at. I mean, it was bad, but this one, man, it got to me, man, because you actually see these folks going up to people who working, not bothering nobody, and they dragging them. And most of them, they're not criminals, they're not immigrants. They just dragging them. They just doing whatever whatever they want to do. And working class people separated from their families, man, and they don't know what's happening. And you taking a picture with a person who's the head of that agency, and you think it's okay. Man, dude, that did something to
Yeah,
me. I
that was
still,
is worse than him taking a picture with Trump.
it is. I
Yeah,
still
yeah,
can't believe it, man, because what does that say about the Teamsters? Because he says all the time, I represent 1.3, 1.4 million. He says that like he represents, like we're okay with that kind of behavior, that we want
yeah.
people in our class to be just throwing in trucks and just taken away, and we don't know
No,
what's going on. Man, no, that's not what we want. We don't want that.
no.
Go ahead,
And
sis.
nobody voted for it either.
Right.
Even the ones that voted for Trump didn't vote for what they're seeing now.
Right. Go ahead, Sister Towns.
All right, I'm sorry about that. I was having a problem with unmuting. Yes, and I would like for you guys to talk about the significance of O'Brien appearing with Christy Nome, what that means, what that represents. I'm sure there are members listening who don't know who she is and what role she had,
Right, you're
she
right.
played.
Right.
So let's take a few minutes to educate the public on, again, the significance and
So,
the negative impact and it has is having on labor.
right. So Christy Nome, for people who don't know, she is the head of the Homeland, uh, what's the HHS agency, Homeland
No,
Security.
Department of Homeland Security,
Right. Department of Homeland.
DHS.
Right.
Yeah,
DHS, Department of Homeland Security, which has ICE and all this other stuff. So what ICE is doing right now, and they just scooping up people who have no criminal background, people who just working, they just going just terrorizing folks, working class people. Just I want to say it again. She's not going after people from the ruling class. She's going after people in the working class. People who go to work. Again, I had 23 people who just want to go to work, get their check at the end of the week, came and got them like it was nobody's business, right? And separating people's families, their homes. Again, a lot of the people don't even have a criminal past. And a lot of these people are in our class. And she's just scooping them up. And for O'Brien to think that it's okay to take a picture with that person, it's a slap in the face of every Teamster. Not just Teamster, but anybody that's in labor in the working class. Because what he's saying is it's okay for to get thrown in the back of a truck, get hauled off anywhere, get treated like you're less than a human. It's okay to be separated from your family. It's okay for them just to do whatever they want to do. Look at the stuff that was happening in Chicago, Charlotte right now, just all these places. Just go back and look at it. Do your research, and you will see what they're doing to people. And
Right.
it's crazy. And it's okay for a labor leader to do that. What other labor leader have you seen stand in almost like admiration or like, yeah, I'm glad to be here with this person? He's the only one I've seen. Labor leader. I
So let me see if I could tag on a little bit to what you're saying. We have a lot of documented
yep, immigrant workers,
immigrant workers
members. Yep.
who who could become members. Am I joining the union in which I'm being swept up, not because I'm undocumented, but because I look a certain way?
Right. Right.
Okay. I'm not being swept up because you came and says, hey, let me see your papers or anything like that. You're just grabbing me, throwing me to the ground, doing all kinds of things to me, right? Is that the union I'm going to vote yes to? So when we talk about it, the implications for organizing, you
Yep.
certainly are not going to get the votes of Latinos and hopefully conscious Blacks who see themselves as in line for the same kind of treatment, right? You're not gonna. I'm not giving you my vote. I'm going to some other union that thinks differently than you do,
Right.
right? And the people who he's trying to, if you understand anything about organizing, the people he's trying to appeal to are least likely to join a union, right? So there is numbers that'll tell you that Blacks, Hispanics, and women are more likely to join a union than white men, right? These are statistical facts from organizing throughout the country. So he's going in the wrong direction
Yeah.
in terms of growing the union. How many immigrants work for Amazon?
Yeah. Yep.
So what he's doing is actually undermining the ability for the people, Anthony and them guys that are working at Amazon, Randy
Yeah.
out there in California, and these guys, you're undermining the work that they're trying to do in this kind of behavior. So that I just wanted to add
Right.
that to.
Let me say this, and I am a conservative Democrat, verging on the moving towards full independent, becoming an independent voter. And I am anti-illegal and immigration, and I am anti, and there are other members of Teamster who share my values. So I mention this because there are a lot of us who are listening to you who don't agree with your position. So be mindful of
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, this whole
Hold
conversation
up,
that
hold up,
we've
hold up,
had,
hold up, hold up, stop, stop,
that
stop, stop.
And my
The first
values.
thing I said was documented immigrants.
Right.
That's the first thing I said, right? There are people here that's on a green card. There are people here that came on a green card and became citizens
Mm-hmm.
who are looking at this and making value judgments. Okay? I am not a Democrat, nor am I a Republican. I'm registered Working Families Party. Right? So I have no use for either one of them two suckers right there, because both of them serve the interests of the ruling class.
Yep.
I am not confused. I did not talk about undocumented workers. I have my opinions about them, but I did not speak on them. I spoke on documented workers, and how, because documented workers are getting swept
Swept up.
in this situation. And it's illegal, it's unconstitutional. And if that don't bother you as a Black woman in America,
My race
recognizing
has
that
nothing to do with my
excuse
values.
me, let me finish. 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs in the last 10 months that this man been in office. Okay? And they were born and raised right here in America.
Right, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead, sis.
Let's be clear. Let me be clear. Black individual thoughts and feeling is not a monopoly. We have diverse experiences and ideas about America, and as well as about the African American experience here in America. So because I look like you, I don't share your values. And I shouldn't share your value because I look like you. So don't be mistaken. I have a vast of an array of life experiences that shapes how I think and how I feel, like other members and of Teamsters. But I respect your opinion, and I hope that you will respect mine.
Yeah, there's nothing but respect. And nobody is ever going to agree on everything. Yeah, just whether you're black, white, whatever, just it doesn't make a difference. So, no matter any opinion of what we say, somebody's going to disagree with it. Like this whole conversation that we've been having, I can guarantee you that somebody's going to say, "Oh, that didn't happen," or "Nope, I don't agree with it," or whatever the case may be. That's the beauty of being in America, beauty of being in the Teamsters, where we're supposed to have the right to debate and have different ideas, right? So yeah, we good. So, like I said earlier, we're not gonna be here that long. I just wanted to come on here and just talk to people about some of the issues that people are having with not putting it all out or giving everybody the concerns of why we were running. So I'm gonna clip this up and share it. And again, like I said throughout the whole conversation, documented proof from A to Z. And I didn't really get all of it out because again, I didn't want to pull it all out there right now, pull it all out. But we will put it out there continuously so you'll get to see and hear why are we running. Like I said from the beginning, at my local, the previous administration said some things about how they were not going to fight and stand up for the members when it came down to the IBT. They were going to do whatever the IBT, regardless of how it impacted and affected 623. We ran on doing something totally different. So when any politician, any employer, and especially people that we pay through our dues money, if they act a certain way against my members, then I'm obligated because I'm their elected official to stand up and fight back. I don't care about what it costs me. I don't care about the sacrifice. I don't care about none of that because I remember the pain and the frustration and the anger I felt hearing my elected officials say, we're not going to do anything against the IBT, knowing how our members felt. Um, the frustration and the anger when they said that we're going to protest in silence against the IBT, knowing how that impacted our members. And there's more locals like that. I'm telling you, we've talked to them, but they're not going to speak out because of fear and all this stuff. I'm not afraid of anybody. Let me say that again. I am not afraid of anybody. I don't care who you are. There's an old song we used to sing in the old church that said, "This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away. But we're going to do it a different way." The Teamsters didn't give it to me, and the Teamsters can't take it away. And so I'm not worried about schemes and plots and plans and ditches and all that stuff. I know who I am and I know whose I am. So I'm not concerned about what folks do. And so I want to make that loud and clear. Oh, there's nothing that you can do that's going to put fear or anxiety or any type of guilt in my heart that make me want to change course or stop. It's not going to happen. We're going to continue to build, continue to grow, continue to move. Just what we're going to do. And what we're asking is a rank and file. Listen to what we're saying because I'm a rank and file person myself. I just happen to be a principal officer. That title means more to other people than it means to me. I'm rank and file through and through. And the decisions I make are based off rank and file principles and ideas and experience that I've been through as a rank and file. I've been a Teamster. I'm going on my 27th year. So up until I got elected in 2020, I was in the craft. I was grinding, doing everything like everybody else was doing. So I'm not too far removed from what it's like to that grind, right? And that's why I feel the way I feel right now. So there's some questions about, man, Hooker, why do you talk the way you talk? Boom, 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 boom. Because there were some experiences that we've had to go through while I was a rank and file, and I never forgot that. And I'm not going to forget that because that's why we're here. That's why we're running. And you may not agree, and that's your right. That's your choice. You will never hear me come at you about your opinions or your democratic right to vote or not to vote or whatever. That's your right. When you pay those dues, it gives you certain rights, right? But you shouldn't be retaliated against, bullied, or guilted in a way that'll make you go against who you are as a person or who you are as a true trade unionist. What we have right now is not true trade unionism going on in the Teamsters. I don't care the PR, all the posts. That is not what's happening. And some of our members don't know. There's a lot of young members who were not around 10 years ago, so they don't know what the internal struggles are. I'm going to continue to talk about these things because I want people to know this is what happened. And I want to thank my brothers from 804 for having that conversation with me. Nothing but love, nothing but respect. Neither brother said, "Hey, man, Richard, we love you. Keep doing what you're doing." And that's what I'm going to do because there's a better option. There is a better option. And you guys know it. Deep, it's hard for me to believe that people don't see that. This is not what the Teamsters organization should be. It's not. I don't care what people tell you. What you just heard from me is what goes on in a lot of our Teamsters locals. You just don't hear about it because people are afraid. I'm not that person. I'm not afraid. And I'm going to continue to be fearless, stand on my principles, and stand, like my father always told me, stand with God. That's what brought us here. And no matter what happens next year, guess what? Still gonna be fighting. Still gonna be fighting. So again, we're gonna get out of here. Chris, when the next time you want to do one of these shows, man?
As long as it's on a Sunday at 4 o'clock, I'm pretty good.
ah, let's do it. Can't do it on the. Let's do it on the 14th, December 14th, 4 o'clock.
Okay, good enough.
Let me put it down now.
I need your time. Everything's wrong. Make it
But
right.
thank everybody
So
for joining in. See y'all December the 14th. Enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. No matter how bad it is, there's always something to be thankful about. Always. Enjoy your family, and we'll see you in a
True.
couple weeks.
True.
All right.
Peace.